Thanks for joining us on Nationwide on the network service of the NTA on this first Wednesday in 2017. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. The federal government has approved the procurement of state-of-the-art firefighting equipment in response to the incidences of fire outbreaks across the country. Minister of Interior Abdulrahman Dambazo announced this while briefing newsmen after the Federal Executive Council meeting. He said about 4.5 billion naira is budgeted for the purchase of the equipment, including 23 firefighting vehicles.
This procurement is going to go a long way to provide the service with the necessary equipment. Even though this is just a start, like I said, the last time it was procured was 1996. We are also hoping that the 2017 budget will avail us the opportunity to procure more equipment for the Federal Fire Service. And of course, the Fire Training School, we are making some efforts to also improve on the particularly with the gas sector. And that way we'll be able to improve the capacity of the personnel to be able to carry out its services. We are also moving to partner with the state governments to standardize fire services delivery all over the country.
State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that
and support to succeed. Emir of Argungu, Mohammed Mera, commended the House of Representatives under Speaker Yakubu Dogara for supporting the executive arm of government. The traditional ruler expressed gratitude to the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration for implementing the Anchor Borrower program, which is assisting farmers and boosting rice production across the country. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
And the need for Nigerians to support the Buhari administration in fighting corruption and insurgency was identified as key to bringing the nation out of recession. Panel of discussants on NTA's Current Affairs program Tuesday Live made the submission while reviewing 2016 and the President's New Year message. Over now to Joseph Johnson for details.
The message of hope for the new year by President Muhammadu Buhari touched on issues such as corruption, terrorism, and state of the economy. Looking back at the good, the bad, and the ugly experiences in 2016, the panelists juxtaposed the President's New Year message with reality.
There are issues of concern in terms of some of the milestones that we are now wanting to celebrate. Like, take for instance the 5,000 naira for 1 million Nigerians. This must be tied to productive ventures in such a manner that we will see this clearly.
There is a need for massive international support. We need to have all of these things coming in. A lot of promises are being given, but these promises are not being matched with action.
But with the perceived obstacles to the roadmap of these economic policies, what should Nigerians do to support the President's quest in taking the country to a comfortable level of prosperity?
Some people were eating too much and ripping government off. And I think we went into that and were able to save government no less than 5 billion. The National Assembly has committed to ensuring that we do all we can to really help government to stop corruption.
When we speak of corruption, corruption actually translates to distortion of values. If you have a pot of soup, I put sand in it, I corrupted it. While we're doing the one of picking up people who have stolen funds, let's also think about national values. Restoration of the defining elements of the people that make us Nigerians.
As Nigerians look forward to breathe a sigh of relief, especially with President Muhammadu Buhari's inspiring message, there are two things they won't lose: optimism and resilience. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Many thanks to you, Joseph. And moving on, economic development of communities and securing the borders of the nation have been described as panacea for sustaining the war against insurgency. The theater commander of Operation Lafia Doli, Major General Lucky Iraba, said this on NTA's Current Affairs program, Good Morning Nigeria. Gufan Shaji reports.
Says leadership was key to the success of Operation Lafia Dole, and this was provided by the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, as well as other security agencies. However, he emphasized that the issue of security is a multi-sectoral engagement.
Greater measures will be taken to ensure that our borders are properly secured. That, from our part, and from the military perspective, we're doing something, but again, that's not our responsibility, and I think it needs to be stressed. But again, the contributions we need to make to ensure that these borders are secured.
Other discussants implored the military to be cautious and not to be quick in recalling the troops back to the barracks, while emphasizing on the need to sensitize communities on the need for peace.
Especially issues around civil liberty, poverty, unemployment. Unfortunately, it is not a military effort. It is something that other elements that would have embraced.
We should sustain the game by dominating the otherwise ungoverned spaces that encourage this insurgency.
I have a lot of programs that designed to ensure that our young people, especially, are not exposed to these violent ideologies anymore.
With about 1,240 girls rescued, the Major General reassured Nigerians that the military will not rest on its house in ensuring that the remaining Chibok girls are found and rescued. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji, NTA News.
And still staying with the military, the Nigerian Army has intensified the clearance of improvised explosive devices and roads in Sambisa Forest to facilitate the conduct of the 2017 Small Arms Championship. Director Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Sani Usman, announced this at a news conference in Abuja. Over now to defense correspondent Ismail Musa for details.
The briefing, the first in 2017, is the first official outing of the Army spokesperson as a substantive director and is aimed at highlighting some major training and operational activities of the Nigerian Army in 2016. Top was Operation Lafia Dole and Rescue Finel in Northeast that led to the capture and defeat of Camp Zero, the former stronghold of Boko Haram in Sambisa Forest.
I will not rest on our oars unless every other Nigerian that is being held captive by the Boko
zones include exercise Python dance and crocodile smile to address and secure the Niger Delta regions, while Harbin Kunama was conducted to tackle cattle rustling and armed bandit in the North Central. On the ongoing army recruitment, the director urged the public to be mindful of criminals extorting money from applicants.
Nigerian Army recruitment is free of charge. We don't even sell application form. It's free.
He called on Nigerians to support the military with information to help in securing the nation. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Minister of Works inspects third mainland bridge. Let's now join Vera in our Lagos Network Center for details. Good afternoon to you, Vera.
Thank you, Hawa. Good afternoon and welcome to Lagos. Nigerians, like their counterparts elsewhere, ushered in the new year with high hopes and expectations. Annie Daniels went around the city of Lagos to find out the expectations of Lagos residents. Reports that security for the year 2017, sustained war on corruption, and economic stabilization were thoughts on their list.
Many Nigerians say they experienced challenges as a result of economic recession that affected the nation. In spite of these, some have applauded the giant strides taken by the federal government in combating insecurity and economic recession.
On the security, I think they have made a headway. They knew what Nigerians went through the last year. But this year, I believe they will do some adjustments and do some country better.
Respondents suggest that concerted efforts by governments at all levels to reposition the economy and consolidate on the past gains recorded should be upheld and improved upon.
The budget is okay. I believe the budget will help the nation. They have to put more security in place, create more jobs for the youths. Then they reduce the way they are asking us for our government. If you import your market now, to clear it is very difficult for us. In terms of road and electricity, we want them to help us in those areas. So there will be need for government to try as much as possible to improve on agriculture. Is very important. There is no way we can do away with agriculture. Whether Muslim, Christian, we are one. So all this tribal or whatever we are doing, all this Muslim and Christian religious fighting, we should put stop to it. It will take us to nowhere.
In all, respondents are optimistic that the government will ensure that the citizenry benefit from good governance. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide News from the Lagos Network Center. And I'll hand you over to Hawa for more reports.
Many thanks to you, Vera. And moving on here now, the Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Bello Dambazau, has appealed to well-meaning Nigerians not to allow themselves to be dragged into religious conflicts. He said this has become necessary following insinuations that violence in southern Kaduna is fueled by religion. A statement by the press secretary to the minister states that there are people who desire to further create division along religious and ethnic lines of the country for selfish interest with the aim of creating instability. The minister posited that true religious leaders do not fan embers of hate but ensure that communities live in peace and harmony. He maintained that economic growth and development will remain a mirage for Nigeria, with over 500 ethnic groups and multiple religions, unless there is the resolve to live amicably as a people with a common destiny. Citing examples of how communities in Zamfara, Katsina, Taraba, Enugu, Lagos, and Niger were victimized by the violent criminals, the minister stated that a criminal should be treated as such, whether he is involved in armed robbery, drug trafficking, homicide, or cattle rustling, and that people should avoid honoring criminals with religious or ethnic attachment. He advised opinion and religious leaders to refrain from giving the crisis between herdsmen and farmers in southern Kaduna a religious connotation. Rather, attention should be focused on real enemies of society who illegally acquire weapons to terrorize Christian and Muslim communities alike. The minister said the police have been tasked to ensure law and order and to arrest and prosecute anyone involved in criminal activities, and urged citizens to cooperate with the police by providing actionable intelligence in its quest to restore normalcy to the troubled communities. He reassured citizens of government's commitment to tackling the root causes of similar crises in all parts of the country, while paying special attention to measures aimed at eradicating poverty, climate change, population explosion, and the issues of youth, which have been identified as some of the causative factors of these conflicts. Federation of Women Lawyers opens legal clinic in IDP camp. These and more reports as we join Obehi in our Benin Network Center. You're on.
Thank you, Awa, for joining us in Benin. 250 people comprising women and youths have benefited from the empowerment program initiated by Representative Ehiozua Agbonayima. The beneficiaries are from his constituency, Ego Ikbobaoka constituency of Edo State. Mohammed Abdulkadri has the details.
Johnson Agbonayima put smiles on the faces of unemployed women and youth in Igba community. 150 grinding and 80 sewing machines went to the beneficiaries.
Our unemployment youth and women should be trained in various skills to be able to contribute to a vibrant and robust economy.
Today we have benefited from his quality representation.
I appreciate and I continue to appreciate. God will bless him.
He has empowered them to be small-scale business people.
Representatives of Governor Godwin Obaseki, Senator Alimodu Cherif, traditional institutions, and community leaders commended the legislature for giving back to the society. High point at the occasion was the foundation laying ceremony for an ultra-modern skills acquisition center and multipurpose hall for Igba community.
The multi-million naira skills acquisition center, when completed within 2 months, is expected to be a hub for economic empowerment that will launch the beneficiaries on the path of sustainable lifeline and prosperity. From Ego, Ikpobaoha Federal Constituency, Benin, Edo State, Muhammad Abdelkader, NTA News.
As part of its mission to promote, protect, and preserve the rights, interests, and well-being of women and children through the use of legal framework, the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, has opened a legal clinic at the internally displaced persons camp in Uhogwa. Ivie Omoruyi reports that the women lawyers also donated food items and toiletries to the displaced persons.
Members of FIDA Edo are seeing the needs to help children and other persons at the camp handle psychological challenges, discrimination, violence, and abuse in any form. The chairperson of FIDA Edo State Branch, Mrs. Maria Edeko, says it is important to set up a legal clinic as a way of assisting them. She urged all sister agencies to key into the idea and help in whatever area and also donate items to support the persons.
We hope to follow up with whatever findings we get from this clinic.
The coordinator of the internally displaced persons camp, Pastor Solomon Kalaunshaw, commended the initiative of FIDA for taking out time to speak with displaced persons at a time like this when they need motherly love.
I see their coming also inspiring confidence in them, because this is what we always tell them. Don't be afraid. We don't have terrorists here. Nobody will terrorize you.
During the visit, members of the association were taken around the camp to see various facilities which include camp kitchen, medical department, classrooms, and various hostels. The joy of the children knew no bound, as they also received lots of items from the women lawyers as a way of expressing their love.
Ivie Omori, NTA News.
The Oba of Benin, Oba Ewaye II, has celebrated the traditional Igwe Akai festival that marked the 3-month ascension of the Oba to the throne of his forebears. Steve Luna Wonkulu reports that the event, which attracted the Beninese from home and abroad, witnessed the performance of the royal dance by the Benin monarch.
The celebration of Igwe Akai festival commenced with the traditional rites performed by Chief Ihama Nihogbe on the Oba. The festival was marked with the slaughtering of animals, including cows, which blood was used for the purification of the land. This culminated in a royal dance by Oba Ewaye II around the sacrificial animals to the music by the Ogbelakas. The royal dance elicited chants of praises from the palace chiefs to the admiration of the guests at the event. The festival was rounded off with a symbolic throwing of the Ebe, which is a symbol of authority by the Oba.
The significance of the Igwe festival is simply a festival to appreciate God for a successful year.
Igwe for the Omonoba, after his ascension to the throne. It's one of the cultural traditions that are maintained.
Benin, Steve Lona and Waukolo, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. Awa, it's over to you now for the rest of Nationwide News.
Thanks, Obehi in Benin. Theatre Commander Operation Lafia Dole, Major General Laki Irabo says the military will not be distracted from pursuing the fleeing members of the Boko Haram and will not allow the insurgents establish foothold in any recaptured territory again. Major General Irabo was speaking at the weekly media briefing on the activities of the military in the northeast. He said quite a number of the Boko Haram members have been captured. Some surrendered and are working cooperatively with the Cameroon forces.
The Cameroon forces are currently operating at Ngoshe. So within the week, we had a link up with them, and the operations they've been conducting have been very successful. These are further exploitation which the Cameroonians conducted, and these are the recoveries from there. We have a summary of those that we've arrested and rescued, a total of 1,400 of them. We, in Operation Lafia Dole, will not rest on our oars until we totally, of course, achieve the mandate for which Operation Lafia Dole was constituted.
Meanwhile, some of the captured Boko Haram members urge those still hiding to come out and surrender to the Nigerian army.
Take this time to tell to my people right there in the bush that because when they are there, they do not think that Nigeria army, if they came and surrender, they will not be killed. Leaders that they are there, they already deceived them.
Gaskiya ne abin da ake faɗa suna karɓan saranda kuma za a samu canjin rayuwa in Allah ya yarda. Don komai za a yi shi ne in Allah ya yarda. Saboda haka muna kiran yan uwanmu da suke jeji da Allah su yi haƙuri. Su yi haƙuri su bar dajin ɗin nan. A dawo a ba da gwamnatin Najeriya haɗin kai a samu canjin rayuwa.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Time to take some messages now. Nationwide returns shortly. Do stay.
This is a happy moment for me and for all Nigerians.
Amina Ali Nkeke, the first Chibok schoolgirl to be rescued in the renewed onslaught against the Boko Haram insurgency.
Amina's rescue gives us new hope.
Federal government has formally received the 21 abducted Chibok girls.
These dear daughters of ours have seen the worst that the world has to offer. It is now time for them to experience the best that the world can do for them. Government will sustain the effort until all the remaining girls return safely.
Now, you can hold that dream occasion without stress. Horizon Caterers will provide answers to all your catering questions. Exquisite hall designs, mouth-watering and nourishing local and continental cuisine, suitable for all types of ceremonies, including weddings, AGMs, business luncheon, cocktails. Name it, we can bring it. Our chefs and executive waiters give your guests that unforgettable experience in service. Our service covers all states of the Federation. Call us today to book your occasions. 0805-502-9637, 0803-450-9726, 0909-9708-111. Horizon Caterers, experience catering beyond the horizon.
I was dreaming, and my grandfather can't tell me, say, he want to make me very, very rich with a number.
You leave business where you go see for ordinary eye. You go to collect number from land of the ghost.
Akwai bomboy makatalo turu. Na in grandfather at the given rangalamba.
So when he die, go to do 419 for that time.
This week on your award-winning comedy series, Professor John Bull, starring Kanayo Okanayo, Mercy Johnson, Queen Wokoye, Funky Malam, Ime Bishop.
Gunners for life, youth, courage, greatness.
All these shouts on I even go the shout. You have regards for this our local team. Teams like Enugu Rangers, you cannot pillars. You have Enyimba. You have like Ashanti Kotoko.
Professor John Bull, this Tuesday and Friday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. on NTA Network, International, and Star Times.
Over and out. Welcome to the new speed of life. Do you crave class? Do you have taste? And do you care about comfort? If you do, then for your next event, a stay away from home, a business trip, or a holiday, visit Jade's Hotel at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja. Check out our world-class services, exquisite suites, restaurant and bar, gymnasium, spa and grills, and our outdoor catering services and cuisines. At Jade's, it can only be better. For bookings and reservations, visit us today at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja, or visit www.jadeshotels.com. Our email address is info@jadeshotels.com. You can also call us on 09291-9321 or 0810-909-7956. Jade's Hotels. Welcome to life.
The climate
climax of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration is here. Join President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, the Minister of Defense, service chiefs, heads of paramilitary organizations, the diplomatic corps, and the Nigerian veterans as Nigeria appreciates the resilience of the armed forces, remembers the contributions of her veterans to internal and world security, as well as honor those who paid the supreme price to give us peace. Welcome to the National Cenotaph and Wreath-laying ceremony as Nigeria marks the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. The sacrifice of our serving heroes, living veterans, and those gone beyond, and the families they left behind cannot be forgotten. There will be free medical outreach on January 15th for both veterans and VIPs to check their health status in all 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. Venue, the Cenotaph, National Arcade, 3 Arms Zone, Abuja. Time, 8:30 a.m. Date, 15th January 2017. Appreciating the resilience of the Nigerian Armed Forces. Don't miss it. Announcer, Brigadier General Rabe Abubakar for National Planning Committee.
NTA Properties Investment Company Limited, a subsidiary of the Nigerian Television Authority, specializes in creating comfort in all areas of life, such as real estate investments, that is, land, houses, and office spaces, mass leasing, savings and loan scheme, household items and car loans, and so much more. Other information and entertainment services include Property in Style, a TV program that airs on the network service of the NTA, and also Property Connect, a nationwide magazine. Our priority is to bridge poverty gaps and sustain quality welfare of our clients. Partner with us and watch us help you grow. Pay us a visit today at the NTA headquarters permanent site, Area 11 Gariki, Abuja, or our Lagos office at number 15 Awolowo Road, Ikoyi, Lagos. For more information, visit our website on www.ntaproperties.com.ng, or you can email us on ntap2000@yahoo.com. Call us on 080-2316-3474 or 080-6939-5185 or 070-3189-0555. NTA Properties Investment Company Limited, the much needed help at your doorstep.
It's nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Thanks for rejoining us. Northern governors challenge to achieve on unifying the region. Let's join Charles in Makudi for details of this and other reports from that zone. Good afternoon to you, Charles.
Good afternoon, Hawa, and welcome to Makudi. Northern governors have called on the Tortiv-elect, Professor James Ayase, to work towards unifying the people of the region. The governors made the call during a solidarity visit to the monarch at his Makudi residence. Achigli Magaji reports that the delegation comprises the governors of Borno, Bauchi, and Kano states.
Leading the delegation is the governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima. The forum congratulated the Tortiv-elect for his victory. Governor Shettima urged the Tortiv-elect to work towards unifying the people, as well as join the leaders of the North to unite the region. He assured the monarch of their support for him to succeed.
I here, sir, to cement that bond of friendship, that bond of fraternity, because we are all united by our common heritage of poverty, of insecurity, of destitution, of illiteracy, of backwardness.
In their various remarks, Governor Samuel Otom and Senators George Akume and Barnabas Gamade expressed appreciation to the forum for the visit and said it is to show that the people will not be left out in the scheme of things.
The leadership under the chairman of Governor of Borno in our Governors Forum have really shown that, yes, we have brothers in the North.
In his response, the Tortiv-elect, Professor James Ayase, said the visit has further encouraged him and promised to justify his elevation to the position.
I'm happy for this honor that the Excellencies have come to visit and rejoice for the Tiv Nation.
In Makudi, Achigili Magaji, NT News.
Benue State Governor Samuel Otom has tasked the church to intensify prayers and contributes its quota to ensure peace and tranquility in the state and the nation in general. Governor Otom gave the charge at the annual prayer pilgrimage for peace organized by the Catholic dioceses of Makurdi, Boko, and Katsinala.
The prayer pilgrimage for peace, according to organizers, became imperative owing to the imminent lack of peace amongst individuals and communities across the nation, the state, and indeed the Tableland, occasioned by herdsmen-farmers clashes and other challenges. Governor Samuel Otom, addressing the summit, commended the initiative, emphasizing that prayer remains the key to surmount hatred and bitterness in the society.
Where you know that a criminal is living here, is existing here, and you fail to adapt the traditional way, you're doing disservice to yourself.
Bishop of Catholic Diocese of Boko, Most Reverend William Avenya, in his homily, attributed the seeming lack of peace in the society to the loss of values and history, loss of unity, truth, and hunger for quality education.
We need self-promotion. This is what I refer to as attitudinal reconstruction.
The Totiv-elect Professor James Ayatse remarked that the synergy between the traditional institution, the church, and the state government will in no small measure bring transformation amongst the people. He called on the team nation to give God the chance to take over their challenges so as to overcome them. Representatives of the children and youth groups called on leaders to unite to deliver good governance that will propel the state to its place of pride. From Boko local government area, Elias, Etiaf, News.
Meanwhile, the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, in conjunction with the Benue State government, has put together a praise and thanksgiving night to thank God for the year 2016 and for ushering the state into 2017, which promises to be a better year. Godwin Inalego reports that the Benue State Governor, Samuel Otom, and his deputy, Benson Abonu, were in attendance.
As a praise night, there was an array of choir ministrations, guest artists, and group performances to appreciate God for his kindness. In a message, resident pastor NKST High Level, Reverend Fred Ikian, urged all to rejoice in the Lord as he has promised to give and provide the needs of his people.
We need to rise from this assembly with a greater confidence and an assurance that the Lord of glory, whatever the enemies of life and of his children will be.
Governor Samuel Otom urged everyone to appreciate God for protecting them throughout last year in spite of the security challenges and other social vices that were witnessed in the state. On the economy, he said, the government will continue to do its best and urged Benue people to take advantage of the recession, to begin to nurture ideas on what to do rather than to depend on the government for free money.
I believe that the recession will have its own good side, and the good side is our ability to begin to initiate new things that are outside the box of government and begin to make money.
State CAN Chairman Reverend Akben Leva stressed the need to continue to praise and serve God for his protection and blessings throughout the year 2016. There were intercessory prayers by the Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Makurdi, Most Reverend Wilfred Anagbe, and other clergymen for the first family and peace in Nigeria. In Makurdi, Godwin Inalegu, NTA News.
That report rounds off our contribution from Makurdi. Hawa is back to you.
Many thanks to you, Charles. And moving on now to ensure effective operation of the Delta Safe mandate, which include prevention of crude oil theft and militancy, the commander of the operation, Rear Admiral Apochi Suleiman, has expressed the readiness of the Joint Task Force to curtail any criminality within the Niger Delta region. Rear Admiral Suleiman said that these are the Ikang border post in Bakassi local government area of Cross River State, shortly after embarking on exercise safety check within the Niger Delta creeks. The report.
Rear Admiral Suleiman, accompanied by his component commanders, said the exercise is to ensure that critical national oil and gas infrastructure are properly protected while nipping other forms of criminality in the bud. The operations commander expressed confidence that the troops are well positioned to discharge their duties effectively.
What we've done so far, what we've seen so far is that our men are ready and are prepared for any eventuality. We are sure of enforcing the mandate that have been given to us. So far, you can agree with me that there's a relative peace within our joint operation area, and I think that is what I think we have achieved within this period.
The flag officer commanding Eastern Naval Command, Rear Admiral James Oluwole, while receiving Commander Suleiman in his office in Calabar, urged security agencies in the country to collaborate more to forestall any threat to the country's national interests.
We have a common goal, and that goal is tied to the national interest of Nigeria. All the components that are present here, it is just one goal we are all pursuing, and that we are drawn from the strategic directive that comes from up there.
Areas visited in Cross River State include Esigi in Akpabuyo, Ikang border post, and Achibon town in Bakassi local government area. In Calabar, Bodi Akpan, NTA News.
And still staying with Niger Delta matters, over now to Furo in Port Harcourt, who's standing by with details of River State budget estimate for the year 2017. Good to see you, Furo.
Good to see you too. You're welcome to Port Harcourt. River State Governor Nyesom Wike has presented a budget estimate of 470 billion naira for the 2017 fiscal year to the River State House of Assembly. The appropriation bill, tagged Golden Jubilee Budget for Accelerated Development, would be implemented to stabilize the ongoing economic development in the state. Chide Beronya has details.
The 2017 budget estimate is predicated on the baseline of $40 per barrel of oil at an estimated production figure of 2.1 million barrels monthly. The governor explained that out of 470 billion naira, 329 billion naira will be for capital expenditure, while 141 billion naira will be for recurrent expenditure. The governor further said that 77 billion naira will be earmarked for infrastructural development. 30 billion naira will go to education, 27 billion naira is assigned to Ministry of Health, 15 billion naira for security subsector, and 12 billion naira for women and youth empowerment.
10 billion, 50 million naira is allocated to the law and justice sector, and 72 billion, now around 15 million, is allocated to special heads. The unprecedented increase in the capital expenditure once again underscores our commitment to direct substantial resources to the critical growth sectors of our economy.
Former Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Adams Daboturudima, who received the budget before stepping down, said that 70% of the budget estimate is assigned to capital expenditure, which shows that the governor has the development of the state at heart. In Port Harcourt, Chidiebere Onya, NTA News.
Senator representing Rivers Southeast Senatorial District, Magnus Abe, has expressed the line to the decision of the Rivers State House of Assembly leadership to swear in members elected under the All Progressive Congress APC into the House. This comes as Senator Abe called on political leaders of Ogoni extraction across party lines to close ranks for the even development of the area. Kingsley Amajori reports.
Senator Abe was speaking at a grand reception organized in his honor by the people of Kono, Southeast Senatorial District, after his electoral victory at the Rivers State Legislative Rerun elections. The senator, however, expressed concern that the swearing-in of the members is coming after the passage of the 2017 appropriation bill.
I hear they have passed the budget. There is no problem.
they should make copies of the budget available to the people of Rivers State so that we too can know what the budget is about.
Leaders from the senatorial district were delighted with Senator Abe's visit, just as they commended his contributions toward the socio-economic development and the human capital empowerment of the people. From Kano, in Kana local government area, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Division Nigerian Army, in continuation of its cleanup operation to mop up legal arms in the state, has recovered the uniform of DSP Muhammad Al-Khali, who was allegedly killed alongside his orderly and other security personnel during the rerun election in the state. Vivian Ezeadiefe reports.
While addressing journalists on the cleanup operations in the state, especially on Elga, the officer commanding 6th Division, Major General Kasimu Ibrahim Abdulkarim, says this trend of violence and barbaric attacks are acts of lawlessness that cannot be left unchecked. Major General Kasimu Ibrahim Abdulkarim says the large catch of ammunition and weapons recovered in some of the militant camps include locally made guns, double and single barrels, 31 assorted magazines, smoked canister, 2 used and 1 live, military and police uniforms and boots, wire used to pump oil installations, among others.
Late DSP Muhammad Al-Khali, with his only that is Sergeant Uche Mwachuku, AK-47 rifle and uniforms were also recovered. You may recall that these armed groups have continued to unleash acts of terror in some parts of Rivers State, especially in Mumu area.
He called on the general public to furnish the division with useful information that would lead to the arrest of criminal elements in the state. In Port Harcourt, Vivian Ezeadiefe, NTA News.
That's all from Port Harcourt Network Center. Hawa, thank you.
Thanks, Firo. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, says it has seized substance suspected to be Indian hemp worth over 7.5 million naira in Kogi State. The NDLEA commander in the state, Muhammad Bello Idris, said this in Lokoja while reviewing the activities of the agency in the last 1 year. Solomon Ayedei has the details.
The state commander of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency said Kogi's location as a gateway state to the north and south has made it prone to drug traffickers who have invented indigenous means of concealing illicit drugs. A total of 234 suspects, including 10 females, were arrested between January last year and now in various operations aimed at cracking down on illicit drug trafficking.
Our best efforts on certain occasions were crowned with successes due to the cooperation and assistance of our sister agencies in the area of suspect transfer, intelligence sharing, and raid operations.
Alhaji Bello Idris maintained that the fight against drug abuse is a collective responsibility of all and sundry. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedei, NTA News.
Like minds meet on ending HIV, tuberculosis and malaria in Africa by the year 2030. Over now to Joy Usiagu for details.
The Global Fund Initiative has fought passionately to eliminate 3 major diseases for over 14 years. As observed by a member of the delegation from the Federal Ministry of Health, Nigeria has benefited from the contributions over the years.
Global Fund came into place around 2002 when we are struggling to scale up HIV treatment. Then we barely had 25 sites providing ART in the program. With the support of PEPFAR and Global Fund, we were able to scale up rapidly, and today we have over 800,000 persons on treatment for antiretroviral in the country. So also on the TB program, it has helped to scale up rapidly TB diagnosis across the country. Also on the malaria eradication program, the availability of insecticide-treated bed nets was scaled up rapidly, and so many Nigerians have access to all these interventions.
With the latest global goal to eradicate AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria by the year 2030, the replenishment of the fund cannot be taken for granted. Montreal, Quebec, Canada played host to a mammoth crowd from different parts of the globe as they gathered for the 5th Fund Replenishment Conference. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called on all parties to pledge with compassion, and indeed, many nations answered the passionate plea as $13 billion was mobilized for the 2017 to 2019 period to support major programs designed towards the attainment of the major goal.
The citizens of our global community can look proudly at what has been accomplished today. Thanks to an inspirational demonstration of unshakable will and collaboration, we will rid the world of AIDS, TB, and malaria.
The conference also offered concerned parties opportunities to analyze major challenges with accessibility, stigmatization, and human rights issues.
We need to have that conversation. We need to shift policy in terms of how discrimination in the healthcare system might happen.
These diseases are prevalent in Africa, in our rural communities most. So advocacy should go down to the rural areas.
We also need to bring men as well to the table. If we leave them and they are the ones that are making decisions within the household, we are not doing ourselves a great job. So it's important to dialogue with men, bring them to the table so that they understand where the woman's perspective is coming from as well. At the end of the day, there's full support from the men, and interventions are working within our African continent as well.
Because everyone says it matters, resource mobilization efforts are still in progress. For as some stakeholders say, given a model that works, partners may as well raise the needed funds to end the epidemics by the year 2030.
In Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Joy Osiago, NTA News.
Still staying with Canada, the Change Begins With Me initiative of the federal government may already be bearing fruits outside Nigeria, as members of the Canadian Association of Nigerian Physicians and Dentists have set in motion a chain of action to stop the cliche, government should do it alone. In this report, Joy Osiago again examines the new strategy adopted by members from the lens of Dr. Tito Daudu and the lessons of similar organizations in other parts of the world.
I love medicine because it's just an amazing opportunity to be able to help people in your community.
Dr. Tito Daudu, a medical practitioner in Canada, is passionate about developing international partnerships to strengthen medical education in developing economies. Her first choice for the experiment was Nigeria.
As a resident, I thought, what are the kind of things that I can help or impact with the way that they're doing training, specifically surgical training in Nigeria. So I went to do a pilot project at UCH and as well as at the University of Calabar, where we started to look at what are the ways that we're training the house officers in surgical training, and to try to start to identify gaps so that we can start to build and facilitate programs that help those trainees when they're out doing their NYSC year or further along if they're doing residency training afterwards.
She is a young member of the Canadian Association of Nigerian Physicians and Dentists, CAMPAD, an association that is of the opinion that it is time to channel developmental efforts to the Nigerian health sector without relegating the bulk of the initiative to the purview of the federal government.
It seems in Nigeria people believe that government has to provide hospital, government has to provide schools, but there are private institutions and churches and mosques that are rich enough to build 50 to 100 bed hospitals that can be fully equipped to what Nigerians call world-class standard. I mean, CAMPAD as an organization can reach out to state governments. I've personally, I won't mention the state, reached out to one of my colleagues. I went to medical school with him, who is a commissioner presently in one of the states in Nigeria. And hopefully we'll be able to work some things out, just even on an experimental basis. Our colleagues in the US also are trying to do this, and I know some missions have gone ahead. But what we'd like to do is to have some degree of longitudinal involvement, not just to go for 1 week and come back. But obviously that will involve provision of maybe spaces for doctors to work. We're not coming to Nigeria to come and ask for money.
We get invited to various communities
in both Central and West Africa. So we are keen on sharing our knowledge, sharing our skills, and building capacity in these areas that we originally trained and were born and bred.
Dr. Tito Daudu and her colleagues believe Nigerians in other nations can develop similar platforms to mobilize professionals to work with the private sector to make Nigeria great. In Edmonton, Canada.
More than 50 inmates escaped from South Philippines prison. Authorities link attack to Islamic separatist groups, and Turkey officially identify Istanbul nightclub attacker, but his name yet to be revealed. Plus, a high-ranking official in Chinese city of Panzihua kills city mayor and local party secretary before committing suicide. For more reports and global tidbits, it's over to Ronke Kolawole.
Ilhan Omar made history in the United States by becoming the first Somali-American citizen to be sworn in as a lawmaker, elected to serve in Minnesota's House of Representatives. She came on board few days after the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump accused Somali immigrants in Minnesota of spreading their extremist views. In Haiti, a 48-year-old banana exporter, Jovenel Muse, has been officially declared winner of November's presidential election, clinching 55.6% of the total votes cast, while his closest rival, Jude Celestine, had 19.5% as confirmed by Electoral Tribunal. He is expected to be sworn in February 7. Indonesia has temporarily halted its defense cooperation with Australia, saying a lot of things needed to be improved. Meanwhile, the Australian Army has looked into the situation and finalized an investigation into the issues raised by Indonesia. Report says bilateral relations between the two countries have been tensed in recent times. For Global Tidbits, Ronke Kolawole, NT News.
Sports now. Abuja Badminton Club wins MENA Championship as German teenager Zverev beats Roger Federer in Australia. Over now to Amanzi Marcos for more on sports update.
Abuja Badminton Club are winners of a badminton championship in Mina, Niger State, competed for by 10 clubs from the north central zone of the country. The one-week competition was meant to discover talents and sharpen player skills and was decided in 3 categories of singles, doubles and veterans, with Abuja crowned champions having amassed 2 gold, 2 silver and 1 bronze medal.
I have seen young talents full of potentials that can be exploited, developed to national and even international level.
I feel good, and I feel good for the players because when you look at it, there has been not too many competitions around.
An upset was on Wednesday achieved at the Hopman Cup in Perth, Australia, as 19-year-old world number 24 Alexander Zverev of Germany defeated 17-time Grand Slam champion and world number 16 Roger Federer of Switzerland. After 2 hours 30 minutes, the young German won 7-6, 6-7, 7-6 to give Germany a 1-0 lead over Switzerland on day 4.
There's been so many great juniors, great teenagers in this world who never really got to the very top. So I got to keep working hard and keep improving.
Still on tennis, world number 2 Serena Williams crashed out of the ASB Classic in New Zealand midweek after losing 4-6, 7-6, 4-6 to compatriot and world number 72 Madison Brengle. Meanwhile, the International Association of Athletics Federations has warned Russian athletes to prove they are clean before they can return to international competitions. IAAF President Sebastian Coe decried that Russian athletes have been let down by a system that should have protected them. With sports update, Amanzi Marcus, NTA News.
And that's a wrap on Nationwide today. We thank you for being part of it. Stay on the network service for more reports. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. Good evening.